In the late 60s and early 70s, the Pritchard family, who lived at 30 East Drive, had some crazy, annoying, sometimes funny, then downright terrifying experiences. Neighbors and others experienced things as well. This case has never been debunked, and it is said things still happen to this day. So let's get poltergeisty and have a spot of tea with the Black Monk of Pontefract.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I was with you.
They're coming to get you by the power of Christ. This is
Me?
Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
What's up, Zach? How's it going, man?
Happy New Year, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be, isn't it?
You betcha.
Getting
Did you have
close.
a good Christmas?
Yep. I got a new
Did
hat.
you get your sock? Oh, I got my socks and underwear, so I'm set. So, good times, man. Good times. It's just nice to be on the other side of the Christmas tree. I tell you what.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a rough one. As the kids get older, as we've said before, it's just,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I was searching around, like looking for a new story, and my favorite things are ghosts, like my favorite kind of movies that I like to watch. If you get some movie out there that it's about a haunted house, I'm in.
Oh yeah, me too, for sure.
I am totally in, and that throws me back because when we were doing our top, what we do, the top 5 movies for Halloween, and you said The House of the Devil was like the first movie released. There was a movie released. It wasn't, well, it doesn't seem long ago to me, but it's been a few years back that they did House of the Devil. It's a fantastic movie. It's kind of a Rosemary's Baby kind of thing.
Right.
But,
I remember you told me about it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it while we were talking about it, but then I was like, it's like a DeLorean, man. It's like a time machine. When you watch that movie, the way it's filmed, everything about it, it's just like, nope, that movie was great. I was like, I don't know. I was like, when I got to the end, I was like, that kind of copies this or that. But I also felt like I was 12 again watching it. So I was like, yeah, pretty great movie. I just thought I'd bring that up because I listened to that episode.
I need to watch it. I've heard nothing but good things, and that's probably the third time you brought it up. So
it probably is. I'm repetitive as hell.
So am I. Eh?
So
same old shit. I'm not real super familiar with this. I think I kind of know the basics of it. So I'm going to probably ask you a shitload of stupid questions. So I hope you're okay with that.
Yep,
it's going to be just like every other fucking episode. I'm going to be like, huh? What?
Well, this isn't a super well known story, and I don't know why, because like I said in the open, it's like it's never been debunked. Like there were so many people that seen shit happen and witnessed things. And what I got most of the stuff from was a Colin Wilson book called Poltergeist, A Classic Study in Destructive Hauntings. And it's like just a section of the book.
Right.
So in Yorkshire, England in the 1960s is where this comes from. But there was a monastery back in the day. In 1090, there was a monk hanged for raping and killing a young girl. And they said that they said that the gallows were like right next to where these people lived at 30 East Drive. So,
that's not good.
No, it doesn't. It's not a good start. We're off to a.
That's not. Yeah, we're off to a bad start.
It's a tenacious D. Terrible start so far. We're off to a bad start. So, Mom Jean, Dad Joe Pritchard. Which Jean is a clean freak, by the way, which I respect 100%. And I get her anger as we go through this story. They had a son, Philip, who was 15, and then a daughter, Diane, who was 12 when this all started. And supposedly this whole area to this day is still, they got active. They got activity all over the place. Yeah. So in 1966, the family took a trip and they were going to go visit some extended family somewhere. And Philip didn't want to go because he was
because he's 15 and yeah, I'm a
didn't give a shit.
teenager and yeah, I'm like, you go piss off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay home right here and I'm gonna have some tea and crumpets and do what I fucking want.
Have
Bloody well want.
Have a toss, you pricks. He stays at home with his grandma, who's Sarah Scholes, and it's about 11:30, and he's going out to the backyard. Well, they call it a garden. Going out to the garden to read.
Right. 11:30 afternoon, like morning.
In the morning, yeah.
Close to noon.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, nice day. Like it hasn't been raining or anything like that for a few weeks. Like it was the half-assed her out, I guess. But he goes out back. He's sitting down. He's reading. A gust of winds comes through, and like all the windows rattle, and the back door slams shut. So he's like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Sounds like a good opening to any horror movie.
Yep. So he gets up and he goes inside. He's like, "Well, I'll go inside." Ask his grandma if she wants some tea. She does. But first she's like, "Is it getting ready to storm out there or what?" And he goes, "No, everything looks fine." She was just worried because the windows were shaking and the door slams.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And she's sitting down knitting, and he asked her, "Yep, you want some tea?" So he goes to make some tea. And when he comes back, there's like it's almost like a fog, but it's like dust where his grandma's sitting, and she's sitting down knitting, and then she starts to say, "Philip, what are you doing? What's going on?" Like he's above her with erasers or some shit, banging them together.
Just like chalking her or something. Yeah.
But he's just standing there looking at her. He's like, what's going on? And she stands up. And when she stands up, she notices that it's not falling from the ceiling because it's only about chest high on her. Like she can see the top.
It's coming from fucking nowhere.
From
it's
nowhere.
Like,
it's just
manifesting from the middle of the air.
Yeah,
just boom.
It's just dust. And that's why I brought up the fact that Jean is a clean freak, because this poltergeist is a fucking asshole. I would lose my fucking mind. I'd be like, how many more vacuums do I need to buy? Because I'm running all the time.
I'm going to get myself a fucking vacuum poltergeist.
I want a poltergeist that cleans shit. So they're sitting there, they're looking at this, and it's like her coffee, like the teacup that he brought her was bringing in.
Right.
It was covered in it. She was covered in it. The knitting she was doing was covered in it.
What the fuck?
And they're like, free blow. No, it wasn't that great. so they go across.
Bring out the stripper pole.
They go across the street because Marie lives across the street, which is Sarah's other daughter, because this whole family lived really close together. And they were
so that would be his aunt, correct?
Yeah. Okay. It would be Philip's aunt, and they live close together. And it was like we'd call it government housing here, and I forget what they call it over there, but it's like a duplex situation where the two houses, two houses together. But
they share a wall.
Yeah. But Marie lived across the street, so they came and got her, and they're like, "You've got to come check this out." So she comes over there. Well, the powder's not in the air anymore, but everything's covered with it. Like even Sarah was covered with it when she came across the street.
What the bloody hell you been doing over there?
So she's trying to figure out, it's like, what's going on? And so she's like, "We got to clean this up," because she knows her sister. And she's like, she's
gonna flip her shit.
Yeah. And grandma is still kind of thinking, Philip, it's probably Philip's doing something. Because I would think the same thing. I'd be like, well, there's no explanation for it. I'm going to go with Arkham's razors,
Yeah.
So she goes in to get something to clean it up with and steps in a pool of water. It's like, they said it was a perfect circle of water. Great band. And
okay. Yeah, the great band. Yeah.
So they clean the water up, but the second they clean it up, there's another pool. And
so they're like, okay, where's the leak?
Yeah. They clean that one up, another pool, but they're in different spots, sometimes repeating. They peel up the linoleum from the corner, and the wood's all dry underneath, which I don't know. They don't use glue over there. I don't know how that works. But they even had a neighbor come over, and he shut the water off underneath the sink. He got underneath the sink, shut the water off because they thought there was a leak somewhere, but couldn't be explained. So it lasted for about an hour, and then it finally stopped. Like No more leaks.
That's fucked up.
So Marie goes back home, but she's still concerned about it. So she calls the water board and they send a guy over. He goes through everything. He goes through the drains, checking the pipes underneath, all this stuff. There are no leaks anywhere.
Just can't explain it.
Yeah, just perfect puddles of water. So after this, Marie's back home. She's just sitting there. And so Sarah and hang on. I gotta leave that up here so I know the names. Sarah and Philip right? Still inside. The tea dispenser starts going off by itself. Now I was picturing.
Okay. Are we talking like when you say tea dispenser? Were we talking like a carafe, like a tea carafe, like for hot tea or something? Yeah. It's got like a little button on it to pour it out. Is that what we're talking about?
See, when I first read that, I was thinking like when we used to make sun tea, you'd have it in the big glass jar and it had the dispenser at the bottom.
Little dispenser button. Yeah.
So, but I know it's England, so they're probably making hot tea, so it's a little different. But it just the button kept going in and it kept draining just over and over and over.
All by itself.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like this ghost or whatever the fuck it is probably just took a leak on the floor and it's thirsty again. So now it needs some. I need a spot of tea. I need a little spot of tea there.
It could have been because Sarah was like yelling. She's like, "Stop it!" But Philip was like, "It's not me. It's doing it by itself." So it just kept going until it was completely out. And then there was.
I don't know about you, but at that point, I think I probably would have exited the building.
Oh, I'm getting real close to the point where I would have exited the building. So there's a crash. They hear a crashing noise. Like it's constantly talked about in this. It's either the lights go out and there's a crash or there's just a crash. Because underneath the stairs, there was like a nook, like a pantry door. And
right.
like
that's where Harry Potter sleeps,
yes,
right?
Exactly. That's where Harry sleeps. Yep. And there's like a fuse box in there and the master switch. It got so bad that they taped it in the up position. But they'd come in there and it'd be off and the tape would be gone and it wouldn't even be on the ground. They couldn't even find it.
Whoa.
Yeah, like tape completely gone. So when they hear this crash, they go to look to see what it is. There's a plant that's set at the bottom of the stairs in its jar. The plant was, let's see, the plant was it was one way or the other. Maybe the vase it was sitting in was at the top of the stairs and the plant was completely at the bottom or in the middle of the stairs. It was so weird.
What the fuck?
It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. They just like heard a noise. It's like this thing wants to get your attention.
Sounds like it just wants to fuck with them.
Oh, absolutely. This guy's an asshole. Wait, it gets worse as it goes.
You little scoundrel.
Yeah. So it's like the plant is at the top. Vase is at the bottom or vice versa. It was one way or the other, but it wasn't a huge mess. It was just, I don't even know what the crash was. They just said that they heard a crash.
Okay.
So they hear another crash and the temperature just drops. It's like freezing cold inside that house at this point.
Okay.
So they go, what happens is Sarah and Philip, they're walking around. They're just kind of walking around the house like, what is going on? Well, they go to the kitchen and the cupboard starts shaking. Like everything inside them, like all the plates, all the cups, everything's just rattling.
And it's rattling the whole thing?
Yeah, yeah. So Philip goes over and opens up a couple doors and then it stops. So they're thinking, well, maybe the person next door in the duplex was doing something. But this wall wasn't connected to the wall from the person that lived there. This wall was at the back. It was just a yard out there, or garden, as they would say. So they go.
Maybe it was maybe a bloody earthquake.
Yeah. Well, so they go to ask the neighbor at the duplex. It was Mrs. Mountain, was her name, and they were like,
"Wait a minute, Mrs. Mountain."
Yep. Mr. and Mrs. Mountain.
Mr. Mountain's Mountain, Mrs. Mountain.
There you go. From time to time.
Sorry.
But no, that wasn't happening at this time. That's not
Couldn't
what the
leave that
thing
one
was. Very well done. So they go next door and they ask, hey, are you I don't know, demolishing your house over here? What is shaking our house? And they were like, we thought it was you.
Mr. Mountain, are you Mountain, Miss Mountain?
Something.
Sorry.
So all this shit was happening. They were seeing it. They were like, okay, this is crazy. So things calmed down and Sarah wants to go to bed. So she's getting ready for bed. Philip is in his bed. So she goes in to say goodnight to him. And his dresser just starts fucking shaking violently. So they're like, fuck it, we're out.
Yeah.
So they go across the street to Marie, her daughter's house.
Right.
And Marie, she's like, yeah, you guys can sleep upstairs or whatever. And then her husband, Vic, comes home. She tells him all the stuff that's going on over there. And he's like, no, somebody's in the house fucking with him. We got to, they call the cops. They come over.
Right.
Marie and Vic,
fucking toss out that Tulsa.
Marie and Vic go in with them to check the house out. They investigate every room, nothing. No one's anywhere.
Wow.
Cops leave. Sarah and Philip are sleeping. Marie and Vic are still downstairs talking because he's absolutely believing his wife about this story that she's telling him.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And
it's not uncommon. I mean, like, I've heard stories of, like people moving into houses and you got people that are fucking living in an attic and they're like coming down and stealing fucking food out of the fridge and shit.
Oh,
so
absolutely. Yeah. I've seen the videos.
Oh yeah. It's fucking creepy as fuck.
That is awful. Yeah. I don't like that at all. I don't even like that you brought it up. It's
that's
terrible.
what I would thought too, is like some motherfuckers fucking with us. Yeah.
So they're sitting there talking about the things that happened. And it's late at night because they can't sleep because Marie is upset. She's seen the water thing. There was the whole powder thing or dust, whatever it was. So Vic goes, hey, don't you have a friend that's like into this kind of stuff, the supernatural stuff? She's like, yeah. And of course, he just lives down the street too. So they go walking.
Well, of course.
They go walking down the street to Mr. O'Donnell's. I think it's O'Donnell or McDonald. I can't fucking remember.
I want to say it's O'Donnell.
It probably is.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He's our kind of guy. Let me tell you right now. He is our kind of dude. Because they walk down the street. They see that there's a basement light on. So they go ahead and knock on the door. He answers. And they start saying, okay, so things happened today. And then start telling him about it. And he's just like, let me get my coat.
Hold up. What's that? Hold up a ticket. Let me go grab my, hold on. Let me grab my jacket. Let's go. Right the door then.
He is amped. He is ready to rock. It's like weird shit. I'm there.
Right.
Gets his coat, comes back to the house. They go back to the house and they're sitting there. So it was like 12:30 when they talk to him. And then it's like 1:45 or something before they leave. But he's sitting down at the table and he's talking to him. Nothing's happening. And he's talking about, well, what you're talking about is probably poltergeist activity.
And they're like, fucking poltergeist. I haven't seen a fucking chicken in this place yet. What are you talking about?
So he tells me, he's like, yeah, it's probably poltergeist. What they like to do is mess with you. And then they like to cut up pictures, is what he said. Well, I don't know where he got that, what book he read or where he got that from. But They were getting ready to leave. And then they heard a crash upstairs. So they go upstairs and there's like 3 pictures on the ground. And then the wedding photo of Jean and Joe is like it's been cut in half a bunch of times with scissors.
Holy shit.
It's like he gave it a suggestion and then
and then it was like, oh yeah, hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
It's crazy. I would see what kind of man I am. I'm out. I'm selling that house and I'm done. I'm never going back in it. I don't even care what's inside there. I'll grab my guitars, but I'm gone after that. It's like, that's it. So
it sounds to me like whatever this thing, it's definitely like a little rambunctious and like definitely is like getting a kick out of fucking with them.
Oh yeah, it's a prick.
Like,
absolute prick. You'll see as it goes.
I think that's funny as fuck.
So after that at the night, nothing happens for 2 years.
Okay, so how old is the boy at this point?
Philip's 15 and Diane's 12 at this point.
So he's 15. So he's right there. He's going through puberty.
Yeah, see, that's what the poltergeist thing. They like to talk about how it feeds off. It's like an entity, but it needs power to feed off of, and then maybe that's all it had from him.
Possibly, but like when I hear about poltergeist stuff, I haven't read a bunch, but it seems like most of the time it's typically females, like girls.
Yeah, it seems like they got more to feed off of. Maybe I don't know how. I don't know.
So this is the only thing that happened was Philip was like basically like one night.
Yeah, it was one day. Like everything was just in one day, but it happened quick. It was just like bang, bang, bang. So maybe it used up all of his energy. I don't know exactly how it works, but so
wow.
For 2 years, nothing happens. But when the family gets home, like the day later, Marie and Vic are sitting there telling them about everything that happened, and I guess they're kind of believing it, but then 2 years later, they're probably like, who knows? You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
They went 2 years, they didn't witness a thing, so they probably thought,
they just had some bad pork and beans.
Yeah. We're gonna go back to pork and beans.
Can't help it.
So after 2 years, shit does start happening again, and it gets aggressive quick. So I was wondering if it was, Diane coming into puberty. But another thing that I read was her mom, Jean, wanted to kind of remodel her bedroom.
So it could have been multiple things.
Yeah.
But typically, like when you fuck with a ghost, that's when they get pissed off, is when you start remodeling places.
Remodeling.
But when with a poltergeist, I think it just fucks with you regardless, right?
Oh, no, I don't know. I think remodeling is a huge thing. It's like when you're changing up someone else's atmosphere that they're used to living in. Maybe they don't know they're dead. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know exactly how it works, but that is a
bitch. I told you not to move
thing.
that fucking couch.
So there was 9 months of shit that they went through.
Holy shit! So from 1 day to 9 months.
Yeah, 1 day worth of stuff from him. If you're gonna go with the puberty thing, it's like 1 day from him, 9 months from her.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
So it was 9 months of shit. It was like nonstop, like banging and knocking, electrical shit, like the lights. Like I said, that the light switch was underneath where Harry Potter sleeps. They would constantly have to go back there and flip it back on because it would go out. So one thing that Jean, she was at home and she was just cleaning around the house and she hears a bang. So once again, everything's a bang or lights go out. It's like this thing wants your attention. It wants you to know that it's doing something. It is fucking with you. So she walks around the corner and sees at the bottom of the stairs that her daughter's bedspread is at the bottom of the stairs. So she takes it back up.
So she's like, what the fuck?
And this is after she started working on her daughter's bedroom. Like she's re-wallpapering and everything. So paintbrushes, wallpaper glue, all that shit's up there. Takes the comforter is what I call it. They call it whatever. So she takes it back up there, puts it on the bed, and then here's another bang, comes out, and then Phillips is down at the bottom of the stairs. Phillips,
so now she's like, all right, which one of these kids is fucking with me at this point?
they're not home.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not even home. She's the only one home. Like, this is just happening. So a paintbrush is like whipped past her, like flies right in front of her face. And then she sees like in a shadow, she thinks she sees like, it's like a snake.
Whoa.
No, never mind. They are home. They are home, but they aren't upstairs. They are downstairs. Changed my mind. It was dark outside, so it was at nighttime. And a strip of wallpaper is moving around. She doesn't know it's a strip of wallpaper. She just sees kind of like a snake figure, kind of like a cobra. And she just, for some reason, she's got more balls than I do. She just grabs it. And when she grabs it, it just turns into the strip of wallpaper. But then A push
What the bloody hell?
a push broom just starts. It levitates up in the air and just starts swinging around.
What?
Yeah, like a push broom isn't like you don't plug it into the wall. It's kind of like I had a Dirt Devil one a long time ago, but it's just like
A push broom is like what they use in like restaurants and shit, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
pick up
exactly.
after the like dirtiest of the dirty kids to it's
yeah. So it doesn't make any noise. They just
right. You don't plug it in the wall. It's just like a little box and it's got bristles on the bottom, and you think of it as like it's the equivalent vacuum of the lawnmower that you don't plug in.
right. Yeah, that's It's like the old school push lawnmowers. Yeah, it's kind of it's just got like brushes, like brushes that spin and
it throws it all up into the
whips it up into a little tray that you got to dump every 3 or 4 pushes.
Yeah.
So she's scared to death. So she heads to she's crawling to the room to try to close the door, but then the kids hear it and they come up, and then Diane gets hit in the face with a paintbrush. It's like whipped across the room, and her dad's out there now. He's hearing all this commotion, but it didn't even hurt her. She said, didn't even hurt. She is like, it felt like nothing. So it's like if it wanted to hurt him, it could.
I was gonna say totally would have, yeah. But it's just trying. It's basically like, quit fucking with my shit. That's what I'm hearing now. It's like, quit fucking with my shit.
It does seem like I can't hurt you, but I do want you out of here. I'm just gonna fuck with you so bad that I want you to leave. It's one of those situations, I think. So they go in the room, and the dad is like, the daughter wants to open the door, and he yells at her no, and then there's like a huge bang on the door. But then, done for the evening.
That's fucked up.
But the next day, okay, the doorknobs are all covered with jam. Like
jam?
Yeah, it's got jam all around the doorknobs, and then like pieces of toilet paper stuck to it.
Is it like strawberry?
Probably.
Raspberry?
Most likely.
Blackberry?
Apricot?
Any strawberry? Apricot? Well, I want to know what kind of fucking jam.
I don't know what they didn't say. I should have got into it a little bit more, I feel. I would have known.
You're good. That's going to be my big bitch for you on this one. What kind of fucking jam was it?
But once again, this feels like it's not at Diane, it's at Jean, her mom. Because she can't stand things being dirty, so she's got to clean that shit. It's just like an asshole. This thing is an asshole. But then Diane, she was getting ready to walk up the stairs to go to bed, and 2 pieces of furniture levitated, floated.
Whoa.
Yeah, floated at her and just laid on top of her.
Well, okay, so she got fucked up then.
Nope, she didn't even have a bruise. And her mother and her brother were trying to pull the furniture off the top of her, but they couldn't budge it. And so Diane's underneath there having a panic attack, going crazy, and they're losing their minds too, trying to get the stuff off them, but it couldn't move it. They couldn't do anything. And so her mom finally says, just calm down and breathe. And then they could move the furniture.
That's fucked up.
Yep, not one bruise, not one scratch, nothing.
Wow.
But she does go up to her bed after that, gets in her bed, and is thrown from it 4 times that night. The whole mattress with her
like
on
ejected?
it. Yeah.
Like just ejected.
Yeah, ejector seat kind of shit. The whole mattress with her on it throws her ass off and just like and pins her down like 4 different times.
Why the fuck would they still be there? Well, I mean,
they're proud folks, I think. I don't know. I would have been gone.
Feet.
I would have been gone in a minute.
Oh my God.
So they start talking about solar plexus, whatever the fuck that is. They start talking about they'd get a feeling in their solar plexus when they thought something was going to happen.
Be like, okay, they're midsection. Yeah.
And then they come up with a name. Once again, kids come up with the best names for ghosts, because this one's called Mr. Nobody.
Once again.
Good
Be a
name.
good movie.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
It would be a good one. What was the one from Doris? Was it
Mr. Fuck, I can't
Shit.
remember. It's too long ago,
Why
man.
can't we remember? Mr. Nobody is a good one, but that was oh, fuck's sake. Go back and listen to the Doris one. You guys don't remember what it is.
That'd be episode 1. You don't have to go listen to that one. Trust me. You could skip that one.
Fuck, it's gonna drive me insane. So they changed the name though from Mr. Nobody because Gene thought his name was Fred.
Okay. You
Mr.
seem like a
Who's It?
Fred.
Motherfucker.
Mr. There it is.
Yes!
You're right. You got it.
Got it. All right.
That was like 20 episodes ago.
It was a long time. So a friend of Gene's comes over named Mr. Holt or Miss Holden, and they're gonna go have a lunch. They're gonna have a sit down for lunch. And so they've got like a tray of sandwiches and whatever else on there for them to eat. So they're walking with the tray.
But they've got some biscuits on that tray.
Most likely. Lights go out. Crashing noise. So by the time she gets underneath the stairs to flip the light back on and comes inside, like there's just a mess. They find one of the sandwiches is back behind the television.
What?
With a big ass bite taken out of it. No, I'm not staying here. I don't know how you're doing it.
This ghost is just a fucking asshole.
And so by this time, like a bunch of people know, like people in the neighborhood know, and people are talking about it. It's been in the papers even though this family did not like the attention. They did not want the attention. They just wanted to live a peaceful life.
Have you heard about that Fred ghost then? I heard he likes the finger sandwiches.
He certainly does. So Aunt Maud, this is my favorite part of the whole fucking thing.
Wow. Aunt Maud, that's a great name.
Aunt Maud. She hears the stories in the news, and she's going to come over there and just show them that it's Philip and Diane doing all this shit. This is,
I remember this part of the story, and this reminds me of the fat sister of Harry Potter's uncle that comes over.
Same thing. Same exact thing. The one Dobby dropped the cake on?
Yes. Yeah, she floats away.
Or he floated her away. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Yeah, I went to the same exact thing.
That's what I
think
thought.
Once I heard the under the stairs shit, I was just like Harry Potter on my brain. So she's sitting down talking about how this isn't, it's the kids doing this. Nothing's going on. We're going to solve this. Lights go out. No crash this time, but the lights go out. Refrigerator door opens, and a carton of milk just floats through the air till it's right over top of Aunt Maud and just dumps on her. It's like,
hope you're not lactose intolerant, bitch.
It's almost like it was insulted that it didn't recognize her as a thing, or recognize it as a thing. It's like, well,
the name's Fred, bitch.
Have that. What's up? So she still thinks the kids did it somehow. Like she's yelling that the kids did it because the lights went out. So she couldn't see anything. So they flipped the lights back on. And so Jean tells her, hey, well, Maud, just go ahead and stay the night if you don't believe it. See for yourself. Okay, I will. So she goes. I
think if I remember it correctly, because I did read a little bit about this. There was not a lot in it, but I read that like she's like, the kids were standing right next to me the whole time the lights were out.
Yep. And it gets worse. She's gonna go hang up.
No, it gets better. It gets
better. That's what I meant. So she's gonna go hang up her coat and scarf. She goes to grab her gloves, and she can only find one of them. So she didn't know where they were. So she goes and hangs it up. She said, yeah, all right, well, I'll stay the night.
It'll turn up.
I'll stay the night.
It'll turn up.
And it certainly did, because two hands just appeared. One was over top of the door, and one was at the bottom of the door. And they thought they were gloves, just working by themselves. And it was like over 6 foot of distance in between them. Like, that's how long the arm span would have been. Like, over 6 feet. So
we're talking about Shaquille O'Neal kind of ghost then.
It's got some wingspan, man. So They
Is that
start.
why they call this the Black Monk?
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
That was a joke.
This
That's
is
just
an
a joke.
NBA player. Well, they fucking.
Very large one.
They start moving around by themselves, and then they disappear. But then they reappear.
Wait. The gloves just like basically
Yep, they're gone. They disappear.
they evaporate.
Yep, disappear from the air. And then they reappear, and they're like gesturing, like giving a come hither finger
Come here.
as they move into the bedroom. So when they get into the bedroom,
Or there's some.
well, yeah, it could have been. I think it was probably poking at Maud pretty bad because she was uber religious, like crazy. So they get into the bedroom, and the gloves are up there just moving around, and she starts singing "Onward, Christian Soldiers" at them. It's gonna, she's gonna fix this.
Yeah.
But the gloves start taunting her by just, directing her. It's like an orchestra director with their fingers. And Jean did laugh at that.
Fuck, I would do. That's funny.
She laughed about it and then said kind of like,
That's funny shit. I don't care who you are.
you still think it's the kids doing it? So Maud did stay the night. No, I guess nothing else happened. I didn't read anything else happen. So she stayed the night, left in the morning. It was a few days later when Jean found her gloves. They were in that cupboard, like underneath the staircase. Found them, took them to her to give them to her. She wouldn't even touch them. She grabbed them with some tongs, walked them out in the yard to the burn pit, threw them in there, and set them on fire. Nope, I'm out.
They've been touched by the devil. The devil.
That's exactly what she thought. She did say something to him about. She became a believer immediately, and then said something about like, "You have the devil in this house" or whatever. So it goes on later, and it's like everything happens to Jean. It's almost like Joe's almost never there, probably because he's working, but
yeah,
who knows? So Jean
it might have, you think maybe it was because she was such a clean freak and it's like, well, I can fuck with this bitch.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I can fuck with her hard.
That is the poltergeist I do not want. All it'd have to do is go through my DVD Blu-ray case and start spinning them to where their faces aren't upright, because what kind of monster does that?
Oh.
So she's sitting she's sitting in the front. I'm going to call it the front room because that's what we call it. Sitting in the front room, an egg just like floats in, drops to the floor and smashes. And then she starts to smell this almost like perfume, like florally scent.
Uh-huh. That's weird.
And then another one comes in and breaks, and another one comes in and breaks. She gets pissed. So she heads to the kitchen. She gets the eggs out of the refrigerator. I think they said it was a wooden box. I'm assuming like it's a bread box or something. Like you open up the top of it, put your bread in there and close it. She put the eggs inside the bread box, shut the lid, and sat on it. Eggs started appearing in front of her face and dropping on the floor and breaking one after another until they stopped. And then she stood up, opened up the box, and there were no eggs. Yeah, no eggs in there.
So it was. That's fucked up. And like you said, why the fuck wouldn't you leave by this point?
Well, they get the idea that they want to get an exorcism done, and I think they talked to O'Donnell. I think they talked to O'Donnell, who says, "Yeah, you can't exorcise a poltergeist, and plus, if you do that, it's going to get exponentially worse.
It's going to piss it off."
Yeah. So, so they tried anyway. They had here's what you don't do. First, the priest that they talked to wouldn't do it because he wasn't allowed, because you know how it goes with whatever they have to go through. So he tells them, you could probably do it yourself. And he gave Vic, if you remember Vic as Marie's husband that lived across the street, he'll do it. He's got this, Zach. He's got this. This is going to be good. So he goes in and pulls off this.
Hold my beer. Watch this.
It might as well have sounded like that, I think, from what I read. He goes in, I think he believed in what he was doing. I think he wanted it to work, but fuck was it shit. It was it just did not work. So it was a couple days later that whenever Diane came home from school, they had this brass crucifix that was on the wall. It flew off the wall and just like stuck to her back. Like, I don't know.
What?
I don't know if it was inverted or not, but it just stuck to her back and wouldn't go away. It was like it was magnet or glued to her or something.
Like magnetized to her, or
and she's like, get it off me, get it off. Didn't know what it was, and she had to walk around until she found a mirror to see exactly, what it was that was on her back. They tried to help her, nothing. Couldn't get it off there, and then just finally just let go. And then there was a painting of Jesus that was thrown off the wall. And then another cross that they had hanging on the wall was thrown off the wall. So before this, there was nothing like this. There was no anti-religious shit. But after they tried to do the exorcism, it was like, oh, is that what you want? I'm going to bring it.
Let me tell you. Let me show you something about Jesus. I'll show you where Jesus is. I'll take you to Jesus.
If that's what you want, here you get it. There it is. It's stuck to you.
And once again, I would have been fucking out of there 9 months before this shit happened.
Wait till the next part. Easter Sunday comes around.
Oh boy.
And Jean heads downstairs to find that the backs of every door in the house have been painted with the gold inverted crucifix or cross. There's no crucifix, just a cross.
So inverted.
Yep.
Inverted.
Oh, absolutely inverted.
We're talking in upside down crosses,
yep. It's like
the devil.
Yeah. Didn't care about it to begin with, but now I'm super in because you did what you did. It's like it's poking fun with everything it does. It's like, oh, you don't like a messy house? Check this shit out. Oh, you're going to exercise me? Check this shit out. Look what I'm going to do. So it was gold paint, but they said it was so perfect that they thought it was like a stencil. Like a stencil had been put up there.
Kind of like the pools of water that were perfect circles.
Yeah. It was just, but she was like, Jean was like, no, we have gold spray paint because Philip wanted to paint his bike gold. So she goes out there to get it, brings it back inside, and she tries to duplicate it.
Can't do it.
No, because the doors are slick. It's like super slick. It's like they're coated with varnish or whatever it is. And it just beads up like it had no idea.
Wow. Holy shit.
I thought that.
Holy upside down golden crosses.
It's like, how long are you scrubbing on that to get rid of those bad boys? Because she had to clean it immediately. I would have had to do the same thing. But like, I'm either getting new doors or I'm cleaning these.
Yeah.
So Jean, a couple days later, she's cleaning out the chimney. She's up in the chimney cleaning it out. Some keys just fall. 19 keys.
Wait a minute. So 19 keys just fall from out of the chimney?
From out of the chimney while she's cleaning it.
The chimney?
Chimney sweep. Like she's cleaning the flue. Or what? She was that. She's worse than me with OCD because I wouldn't even think about a chimney flue, but she was in there cleaning it. She's like, I can't have that. That could be dirty.
Yeah.
So all these keys fall. She goes through them. 18 of these keys are keys to the house for doors, whatever. All their keys had been missing. She finds them all. The 19th key was like an old school looking skeleton key type shit. Now I'm wondering if they never found out what it went to, but I'm wondering if that wasn't left just to mess with you, like hardcore. Like,
like this is the key to the door that was here to the building before this building was here.
Yeah, almost like daring you to try to figure out what it's from because you're going to lose your mind trying to figure it out because you'll never know.
Yeah.
So
that's fucking weird, man.
So they do go next door once again to Miss Mountain. Mr. Mountain, Miss Mountain. Yeah, you get it.
Is Mr. Mountain Miss Mountain?
Absolutely. They had to take a break when the door knocked. So they ask her, is like, has anything been going on crazy over here? And she goes, well, now that you mention it, Now, wait till you hear the story. Now that you mention it, shouldn't have been the first thing. It'd been like, fucking absolutely something's been going on here. She was like doing dishes or something. Thought she felt like somebody looking at her or staring at her or something. Turns around and there's just like a black figure of a man that looked like a monk because it had the hood and everything.
And over. Yeah.
But she wasn't scared. Like,
so she was like just more like curious about it or what?
yeah.
It was like she looked at it like, well, what are you doing here while I'm doing the dishes? And if you're just gonna stay in here, you can dry.
It had to be some kind of power that it had, because if I turned around and seen something like that, I'm either throwing fists or I'm running. There's no freaking way.
I ain't fucking throwing fists. I ain't gonna throw a fist if something just like manifests in front of me because I know I ain't gonna be able to do shit about it. I'm gonna be running. I'll be like.
So at this point in time, it is nonstop. Like everything. There's knocks constantly.
This is fucking crazy.
Well, it was
man.
right after the exorcism thing that they tried to do, even after O'Donnell told them, hey, don't do that. And they were like, hey, you know what we're going to do? Not listen to the one guy that we know that knows anything about the paranormal. We're not going to listen to that guy.
It sounds to me like they need to find themselves a ghost nun with an STD and bring it over there.
Yeah, get that shit out of the way. Get that handled.
Goddamn right.
So, once again... even neighbors. Yeah, did I mention neighbors saying that they was hearing shit? They could hear stuff from across the street. Like it was so loud. Like it wasn't coming from the houses that they lived in, but they could hear noises from the house that they lived in.
And I also, once again, from the little pieces that I read, because I didn't really do hardly any research on this, but I also recall the neighbors saying that the house seemed to have a glow.
Yeah, I think that was at like certain times.
The house would glow at night at certain times.
Yeah, see, if I'm living next.
Well, what the hell's going on over there then?
I'll tell you what, fuck I'm doing. I'm gonna fuck out there.
I'm fucking out of here. I'm gonna go to the fucking pub, man, myself a couple pints. Is what I'm gonna fucking do.
If
that never fucking happened.
If that's a true thing, man. If I'm across the street and the house is glowing, I'm calling a realtor the next day. I'll be like, no, only show them in the daytime. No, don't bring them around at night. Never.
Yeah.
Play loud music while you're showing them the house too, so they can't hear the knocks and shit. So,
yeah.
It's towards the end of this that Diane is getting ready to go. I think she was going to go make herself some tea. Her mother hears a scream, comes running in with Philip, and her daughter's being dragged up the stairs. Like the front of her sweater, they could see it pulled out in front of her, but they can't see what's grabbing it.
Anything, yeah.
And then it seems like something's grabbing her from around the neck, trying to pull her up the staircase. So Philip and Jean grab her and start yanking on her to try to get her back, and they fall all the way down the steps. It says they had to give her a big glass of brandy to calm her down.
The girl. Wait. The girl?
Yeah. She was so distraught. They were just like, "Here, drink this. Chill out.
Here.
Go ahead.
This'll make you feel good." And
it will. You would have to be blasted to live in a house like that. There's no other way you'd be able to get around it.
95% of the time, yes. But I don't think I couldn't handle it otherwise. I mean, why the fuck are you still there? How long did this shit happen?
9 months. I don't think they had the money.
Fuck no.
And plus their family lived close. I think they were stubborn.
Move in with your fucking family then.
You're going to have to do something. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Holy shit.
But they said after that they gave her the brandy and she started calming down. There was like fingerprints, like the red marks around her neck that looked like fingers. Like she was being choked,
it was
like choked out. So I think that's crazy. I think that's where it lost most of its power, because the last thing that I read about was like the kids, Philip and Diane were sitting down watching TV. And Philip seen something move past like one of the glass doors. And she seen what he was looking at. So she looked and he got up and went and opened up the door. And he said he saw the black figure of the monk too. And then it just like kind of like melted into the floor.
Wow.
And then that was the end of it. But also her father, Joe, had somebody that he was friends with from the church told him, he's like, I think garlic will do it. What? What? So he went.
I thought that only fucking worked with vampires.
No, so he went out and bought a bunch of dried garlic and hung it around the house, and they never had any problems after that.
Okay, well, hey.
So either
Hey,
it just
if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Hey,
I guess I don't know.
either it just left, which I'm going to go with, or the garlic did it, because I'll never have to worry about a damn thing in my house because I love garlic. I almost every damn thing I cook, I put garlic in it. So there is supposedly still activity there still today. It's not as bad as it was, but they think there's still activity.
And that's the only thing I really found was like some modern day ghost hunting stuff.
Yeah, there was no old stories. If you don't buy that book, I don't know how you'd find anything about this story out.
But it's really compelling in all the firsthand accounts and everything with this. It's crazy that nobody knows this one.
It was
it's
the amount
Yeah.
of people that came by there. Even the mayor came by one time.
Yeah, I mean, there was articles in the paper about this.
Yep, neighbors,
and it was documented by all these local people that that wasn't then. That was when Sally was in town, and I remember because blah 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 blah. You know, I mean, like
they could recall what day it was when they was talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, which is nuts.
I would never be able to forget about it. I get that because if they were like, no, this happened, I'd be like, no, that's not the night that happened because I fucking remember that shit. It's crazy.
That's when Mr. Mountain was mounting Mrs. Mountain. I remember that really well.
And they were knocking boots and rattling shit around over here. So there was a movie made that was called When the Lights Went Out. I haven't seen the title. I haven't seen it. The title.
I think Mr. Nobody, Mr. Nobody, or just Fred.
Fred. Yeah.
Dead Fred.
Fred's not as good. Drop Dead Fred was good. I remember that from when I was young.
There was also another movie called Fred the Movie, which was had nothing to do with this. It had something to do with some kid that talks like he's a Muppet.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that one.
My kids love that. It was like a Nickelodeon show.
Oh, that's why nobody got slaughtered in it. That's why I haven't seen it. I tell my wife that all the time. She was watching a Christmas movie the other day, and then I was in there cooking food, and I came in to sit down. She's watching the show. I only sat down for about 5 minutes. So I was like, how's come nobody's been killed yet?
Hey, nobody's dead. I'm out of here.
What are we watching? What are we even doing here?
Oh, shit.
So that's the Black Monk.
That's a good one, man. Good pick. I really, I thought that kicks the shit out of the monk or the nun with STDs. Yeah. No, I like the fact that so many, because normally when you hear one of those paranormal cases, like if you're talking about like, what was it? What The Conjuring 2 was based off of was shit. I can't think of the name of it right now. Give me a minute. But that was mainly just the family saying that they seen this stuff, right? You know, but in this circumstance, you have countless people that have experienced things throughout the entire neighborhood.
Lots of witnesses.
Things.
Yep.
Yeah. And although they didn't really capture anything on film or photographs, it was too early.
It was the late 60s. So, I mean, if you did have a camera, you were probably really well off. So if you're living in government housing, I'm assuming you don't have a camera.
You don't have, yeah. And I'm not sure if we mentioned this earlier, but they did contact a priest, right? And the priest said he couldn't do anything.
Oh, I think I mentioned it. Maybe I didn't. Okay. No. The priest told Vic what to do, like gave him the holy water and told him what to do with the exorcism, and that went well.
Yeah. So, or not so well.
Well done, priest. Yeah, I think I said that because it's like to get them to do it. This like they got to have so much proof. They got to have this. They got to have that.
Right, and they didn't have any of that.
Yeah. So Vic went.
And
Vic went
I think
in there.
Actually, a priest came over and they said, "Well, I think it's just the house moving because of it's shifting."
Oh, that could. There was a candle situation. Yeah, it could have been. Was that the? Shit.
Yeah, that's the candle. We forgot to mention that, but yeah,
the vicar.
So
vicar.
Yeah, the vicar.
Was
vicar comes over and he's like, yeah, he sees the house is moving and stuff, and like the the cabinets are rattling and shit, I believe is what was happening.
Well, I
He's
think like a candle flew off the shelf, and he said the house was settling.
And then it levitated in front of his face, and they said, "Explain that shit, motherfucker."
Once again, the poltergeist was insulted that he wasn't acknowledged, or it wasn't acknowledged. This is like, I'll float in front of your face and then drop to the floor. It's just like with the eggs.
Hello, my name's Fred. Fred Nobody. You can call me Mr. Nobody.
Check out what I can do.
Yeah.
Thumper.
Hold my beer. Watch this. Woo!
But that guy was that thing was an asshole. Because like all this,
I love it.
All the stories of just fucking with Jean all the time. Like,
fucking sounds like a punk rock ghost to me, man.
Uprooting plants and stuff just so there's dirt everywhere. I was like, what kind of cruel? Do you go back to your friends and talk about that with your friends? What'd you do? Oh, I hung a guy. You know what I did? I sprinkled dirt on the ground. That was crazy. She hated it.
And then I hit this lady in the face with a paintbrush. It was fucking hilarious.
Did you hurt her? No, I'm not crazy. It was more like a smooch.
I'm a pacifist, really. I'm a pacifist.
Pacifist poltergeist. Great band name. I still out there.
But I still like fucking with people.
Oh, certainly does.
Well, this was awesome, Matt.
That was fun.
Good start to 2023.
Yep.
Guys, thanks again for liking, rating, and reviewing the podcast. If you want to get a hold of us, you can do so by emailing us at hmfppod@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. And if you have a suggestion or if you have a story you'd like to share, please do so. We would love to cover it. And once again, thank you guys for listening and continuing to listen and support the podcast. We're going to try to extend some stuff this year. We're really thinking about doing some extra bonus episodes for people that would be interested in hearing that stuff.
Yep.
And next week, we're going to do... You know what? Fuck it. You'll find out next week. I don't even want to tell you. But thanks again, guys. We really do appreciate it. Happy 2023. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Later.
It's evil! Don't touch it!
It's alive!
I like you.
They're coming to get you by the power of Christ.
This is
Me?
Hello, Mr. Fancy